Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Passion and Persistence podcast. I'm your host, Elaina Mitchell, and this episode is very special because we have the real Brad Lea here to drop some bombs, talk about sales, passion, persistence, and even a little bit of religion. But before we get into that, have you subscribed to this podcast yet? If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Also, follow us on social media. And if you haven't heard the news yet, we just dropped the Passion and Persistence merch. You can check it out at passionandpersistence.shop. Without further ado, let's jump right into episode 9.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Passion and Persistence podcast. I am so stoked today because we have an extremely special guest. I have been waiting patiently to have him on and ask him some awesome questions. So without further ado, say hello to the famous Brad Lea.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me, Elaina.
Thank you so much for being here, Brad. So passion and persistence, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm a fan of both of them.
Cool. So what is passion to you, Brad?
You know, that's a good question. It's hard. I have a sign in my, I wouldn't say sign, but I made a little piece of artwork in my main boardroom that says, ambition means you want it. Passion means you'll get it, I think. So passion is a little bit more powerful, I think, than just ambition or desire. Passion is almost like desire mixed with, nitrous oxide.
I love it. I love it. When you have passion behind something, nothing's going to stop you, right?
That's correct. Well, I mean, there's a lot that could stop you, like a 357 Magnum. You could be passionate about robbing a house and get stopped real quick. But in the general sense, passion is an ideal trait to have. And if you're going for some goal or some sort of objective, having passion definitely helps. Most people will give up without it. Like if you're really not passionate and you're really not into it, like passion would have you into it, you're not going to have that same push and persistence and determination. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how you found your passion in life.
I still haven't found it. I'm looking for it.
What?
Yeah. I'm still looking for it.
Is that really? You're still looking for it?
I mean, I'm passionate about a lot of things, but as far as finding my passion, as in singular, I don't think I found it yet.
Interesting. So what is it that motivated you to create this huge empire that you stand upon?
Well, first of all, it's not as big as it looks. Okay. Secondly, what started it all off is I ultimately helped somebody, and I just helped them by teaching them how to close and persuade people. And it allowed them to, turn a minimum wage job into, 15, 20 grand a month, turned it into a career. And it just kind of got me addicted to helping people, where prior to that, I was just always worried about myself. I was always focused on what I could get, what I needed. And I really never thought about other people in that way. So I accidentally helped this person, got addicted to the feeling because it changed his whole life, his family and all that. And so I said, man, I'm going to quit my job and go out and do this full time. It was like, man, I just want to help people change their life. So when I started doing it, I realized very quickly it wasn't as effective as it was when I was doing it at the company I worked for. So I built a technology to allow me to do it. I found out basically that there's 4 ingredients to effective training that most people either don't realize or don't utilize. Either one is the same effect. So I kind of invented that, found the 4 ingredients, and then developed this technology, Lightspeed VT, to facilitate my training. And it worked so well that I started showing it to other training companies and celebrity trainers and subject matter experts of all kinds. And then that's how it kind of all took off. Now I'm standing upon an empire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So many people look up to you because you're so bold with your sales tactics. And I watch your stories all the time on social media, and I learned so much from just the verbiage that you choose to use and the demeanor that you have when you're talking about sales. So it's really inspiring for me too, because I never coined myself as a salesman, but to build a business, an empire, you have to be passionate about selling and be hungry for it. So what's your background like that made you hungry for that?
Well, I hate to argue with people and debate with people, but I would argue that what you just said, I don't believe that. You need to sell, but you don't have to be hungry and passionate about it to do it or to do it well.
Interesting. I wonder why do you take that stance on it?
Do you have to be passionate about taking a bath in order to do it?
No. So I guess you're saying more or less that it's a habit that you acquired.
No, it's a skill that I've developed, and I can develop that skill for anyone, and they don't have to be passionate about selling in order to do it or do it well. And if you're starting a business, you're out there running a business, you don't have to be passionate about sales, but yes, you have to do it. But what you said was you have to be passionate and like really, love it. You don't have to love it. There's a lot of people that don't love sales that are very good at it. I don't particularly love sales. I love, making money. I love, helping people get what they need. So closing deals is fun for me. But if someone said, hey, you can never sell anything again, but I'd be okay with that. Like if you said here's $1 billion, but you're never allowed to sell anything again, I'd take that $1 billion. And it would be impossible, first of all, for somebody to stop selling, because we sell every day, no matter who we are. A lot of people hate sales and salespeople, and they don't even realize that they themselves are salespeople. We've been selling since the day we were born. So the difference between a good salesperson and a bad one is the bad one just doesn't realize they're salespeople. So they don't know how to do it very well. That's all. But they're salespeople nonetheless. Like
Absolutely.
you sold me to get on this podcast.
Yes, I did. I chased you persistently.
You were persistent and you sold me on being on the podcast. Now, there's a lot of people that hit me up for their podcast, and I don't say yes because they're not persistent, first of all. Second of all, they were just kind of like, hey, sure love to have you on my podcast. Okay. And then if I forget things because I'm busy, so it's like I forget to go back in the DMs and say, oh, okay, what are the details? So I just don't reply yet because I think, oh, I'll come back to that. And then I never hear from them again. Well, how bad did they really want me on a podcast if they never suggested it again?
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. Following up is so key to anything in business, or so I'm learning. So is that something that you teach your sales team, is to constantly follow up?
Well, yes. Follow-up is critical in most cases. I mean, we can go into a company that's not following up and just simply have a 1-minute sales meeting that says, hey, follow up, and walk out, and we'll double their sales.
Absolutely. I agree. I tell people all the time, I follow up like a hungry pup.
Where are you out of? Are you
I'm in St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yes.
Gotcha. Isn't that like the oldest city in the world or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
United States.
Wait, that's St. Augustine.
Sure.
I think so. I could be wrong. I just moved here to St. Pete, so I'm still learning about the city myself. So I want to know a little bit more about your background. Where did you come from in life? What drove you to be who you are today?
I started sales on accident. I mean, I started selling when I was 6 years old, selling candy bars. There's a whole story behind that, but really started selling when I was 17. But ultimately, after I went and got a hard labor job, and I realized I don't like hard labor. I don't like labor. Like I don't like my hands, dirty and bruised and cut. And like, I just don't like hard labor. I don't like my back to hurt. I don't like, quote unquote, hard work. A lot of people say you got to put in hard work. You don't have to put in hard work. I don't put in hard work. There's a lot of people I know that don't put in hard work. I think the definition of hard work is different. Like my dad was a hard worker. He was broke his whole life.
Right.
I have family members that are hard workers. They work hard. Their hands are cut up and calloused, and they're hard workers. Well, they're all broke. So if hard work was all you needed, well, guess what? Everybody would be rich. All the people in the military would be rich. It's hard work going over to Iraq and defending the country and digging ditches and cleaning out porta potties and moving tanks, right? Why aren't they all rich? Because hard work isn't the answer. You don't have to work hard to get rich. That's the thing. And again, not that everybody's goal is to be rich, but if it is, and you've been told hard work is a requirement, it's not, and so at 17, I learned I don't like hard work. So I quit doing that and found sales. And then sales, I kind of fell in love with, really, not really, because of what it is, but because of how easy it is to do and how much money you can make, and how faces and people constantly change. So it's like new all the time, and the camaraderie of the people on a sales team, it's almost like a team. So it was just fun, man. So I mastered it. And then that's really, I think, what kind of where I came from. So I've done a lot of things, but sales is pretty much where I came from. I came from a small town in the Northwest, dropped out of school at 16, thought I was going to be a movie star, almost got to be a couple times, found out that, whoever produces the movie gets to decide who's who in the movie. So I said, man, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go be a millionaire real quick, and I'll come back and make movies and put myself in as a star and be a movie star. But, that took forever. I didn't realize it'd take 20 some years to become a millionaire to where I can afford to make movies now. But hey, I still plan on making a movie or two just to make sure I finish that. But other than that, man, that's where I've come from. Sales.
That's super cool. I'm so inspired by that. And I think that a lot of people that work hard and don't really make a lot of money, it's because their mindset about money is tainted. Whether it be, I saw one of your podcasts actually talking about that, where our parents mess us up with the mindset of money.
Not only our parents, but our schools and our friends, and just listen, we're out there trying to seek knowledge to learn what we need to learn to make what we want to make. But in some cases, we need to unlearn everything that we've learned. So it's not what you need to learn that matters. It's what you need to unlearn. Stop learning or unlearn what it is you've learned that keeps you down.
Very cool. I like that perspective a lot. So how would you say social media has helped your business?
Well, just from exposure, obviously we get a lot of business from social media, because people either, follow me or follow some of our clients, and social media allows them to, make a bigger impact and reach more people instantly, quickly. And so obviously that translates into dollars.
So you have seen a difference since the uprise in social media with your business?
Oh, absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. And you get to connect with people that you would never even bump into on the streets. Like I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and that's a really cool connection that we got to make through social media.
That's right, because we're both treating it as social media, not just media.
Absolutely. Yes. So if anybody's watching or listening, I want to know what advice you would give them if they are down and out on their luck, or they feel like they can't get to where they want to go in life. What advice would you tell them right now?
I would tell them to stop believing that, and it would stop being true. So like, again, the only reason you're in that condition is because you believe that to be true.
Absolutely. There's so much power in our thoughts.
It's everything. Like, again, it's choices, man. You choose whether you're winning or losing, and most people will blame rather than correct. So like, why am I not making $1 billion? Well, it's this person's fault, and that's that person's fault, when in reality they're supposed to be just sitting there contemplating, how can I get this $1 billion? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to learn? What do I need to say? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to meet to make this happen? It's not about, oh, I dropped out of school, so I don't have a college degree, and that's unfair. Or, my parents, they're mad at me because I'm making too much money, so I need to subconsciously freaking appease them. So I'm going to limit myself in my thinking and my actions. So, I mean, like, it's everything to do with themselves. I always tell people, if you want to make a lot of money and you want to correct every problem you have in your life, I can introduce you to the person that will help you. Would you like to meet that person, Elaina?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what you do. All you have to do is find the nearest bathroom and make sure nobody's in there. And then you walk in and look around, and usually within a minute or so or less, you'll see the person that can help you. And then you introduce yourself, and you ultimately start to get to know one another, because that's the person that can help you with everything.
I love that so much. My mom used to tell me to stop the "oh, poor me" attitude. And that's what I feel like is an epidemic in society, with people that don't get to where they're going. They're feeling sorry for themselves. So I love your perspective on that. So the last question I want to ask you, because you do believe that mindset is everything, and the things that we're thinking, do you think that they become our reality, and are you spiritual in some way?
I do. I personally do. Yes. When people say what, religion am I? I'm like a Krishnaslam, Jewish, Buddhist, Kabbalah, Scientologist. What is another one? Yeah, Hindu. Like, in other words, I don't know what to believe. I do believe there's a higher power. I do believe, in the stories that you hear in the various religions, and I believe there's one source of truth that those have all fractured off of. And so there is a higher power. I just don't know what it is, but yet, I don't believe anybody else does either. When they say they do, that's what they're calling conviction and faith. So they're just picking one. That's a choice. And, some people choose faith and some people don't. So if you're a Christian or you follow Jesus Christ, well, you're supposed to just believe and have faith. And then, other ones, better not, that's all foolishness. And, who knows? But I do believe that there is a higher power. Absolutely. We're far too perfect and miraculous just to have evolved out of a primordial ooze.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. I believe there's truths in every, what?
Elaina, do you know the absolute proof, if anybody wants it, to know that there is a God? All they have to do is look at the female. Look at the female human being.
Yeah, we produce life.
But that's proof there's gods. Because, man, how perfect is a female?
I don't know about perfect, but it's like you said, miraculous.
But imagine just an earth filled with men, right? So it's all just us dudes walking around. We're all freaking, looking for shit to eat and whatever we're doing, and then all of a sudden a female appears. It's like, oh Lord, who did that? My God, thank you. So at the end of the day, who would think of such wonderful perfection to go with the man other than a female? So again, I mean, like, if females were roaming the earth and then he created man, well, what kind of trick was this? But the opposite is what happened, supposedly. According to some religions, there was Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And by the way, the girl screwed it all up for all of us, didn't she?
Yes.
So what religion are you, Elaina?
So I call myself non-denominational. I believe, like you, that there's a little bit of truth in everything. I do believe that the reason that prayer works is because of the belief behind the prayer and the power in numbers. When you pray in multiples for the same cause, it usually makes the prayer manifest quicker. And I think that there's some science behind that that's starting to unfold in life. The fact that our thoughts literally create things. So belief is everything. And that's why faith is so important, because faith is parallel to belief.
Hey, I'm telling you, you're on to something, kid. You're on to something.
I know. Oh man, well, I had such a great conversation with you, Brad. I love hearing about your past. I feel like your energy is just so enchanting, and I love watching all of your stories on social media. So if anybody hasn't heard of you, tell them how they can find you on social media.
They just Google me.
Google
Brad Lea. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram mainly. I don't really mess with Facebook much, although I have a page there. Instagram and Twitter, really. But it's the real Brad Lea, which last name is Lea, which is pronounced Lee. Don't forget that. People always say, is that Leah? And I say, I don't know. Do you drink Tia?
Oh, I love it. Love it, love it. Well, thank you so much, Brad. I am so glad we got to connect. You have such an awesome mind and a great charisma, and I can't thank you enough for being here today.
Well, thanks. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate you having me on, and it's been my pleasure.
Awesome. Well, you have an awesome Friday.
All right. Thanks, Elaina. See you later.
Bye. See ya.
That episode was awesome, and I am so thankful that you took the time to tune in to the Passion and Persistence podcast. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends and family, post it on social media, and make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're giving away some cool merch very soon, so turn on post notifications. If you want to check out that merch now, visit passionandpersistence.shop. This episode was brought to you by E. Mitchell Designs, your one-stop shop for all of your business branding needs. Until next time, guys, make sure you go out and chase your passion persistently.